Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Sunday. And what a lovely Sunday morning it is. The sun is shining. Arsenal have won a game of football in the Premier League. Hallelujah! It wasn't the prettiest, but as I said in yesterday's video from the Emirates, it's what they needed. They got the job done. They got themselves 3 points. It should have been far more comfortable. Let's face it, they missed a hatful of chances, had 30 shots on goal, only scored one. Pretty fortunate goal at that, but this morning, who cares? Arsenal have won. They've got their first points of the season. They've got their first goal of the season. Now, hopefully, we can start heading in that direction over the coming weeks. There was a notable sense of relief after the game yesterday. You felt it all around the ground. You saw the players' reaction to full time. You heard Mikel Arteta in his press conference afterwards admitting he got pretty emotional by it all. There was a lot of tension going into that game yesterday. Everyone knew how important it was for Arsenal, for Arteta, and they just got themselves over the line. They did it the hard way, as usual, with Arsenal. Like I said, it should have been far more comfortable given the amount of efforts they had, given the amount of chances they had. They just couldn't find that second goal to kill things off, and so they made it a little bit more nervy than they should have done. But it was a win, and hopefully, touch wood, the season is now up and running for Arsenal. Obviously, I did my ratings video yesterday, talked a little bit about the game on that one, but I sort of wanted to go over a few more things in a little more detail in this video. And please do let me know what you think about the performance, about the result, about what you liked, what you didn't like. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll have a read through them all. So in terms of the win, I mean, it just felt like a little bit different yesterday. It was a bit of just felt a bit refreshed. Mikel Arteta saying during the week in the build-up to the game that Arsenal needed to reset, and it certainly felt like they did that yesterday. 5 new signings started that game. We had Aaron Ramsdale in goal. You know, Bernd Leno was a big call from Mikel Arteta. Ramsdale coming in, appears to be now number 1. So he started. You had Tomiyasu making his debut at right back. You had Ben White and Gabriel together for the first time. You had Sambi Lagonga in midfield, and you had Martin Odegaard making his first start at home since his permanent move to Real Madrid. So it just felt like a bit of a different team. It was a bit of a refresh, and you just felt the mood around the place was quite good because of that. And Arsenal really played well for that first 20-25 minutes, played with real intensity, but unfortunately didn't get a goal. And after that, the nerves began to creep in a bit. It all got a little bit scrappy until they did take control in the second half completely. I think they had 20 shots in the second half. And it just looked a little bit different. Like he went 4-3-3 when Thomas Partey came on, which was also great to see. And he played a big part in the goal, Thomas Partey, with that whipped-in ball that he played to, I think it was to Bukayo Saka. Just broke the lines, that really quick, fast forwards ball, which Thomas Partey can do. And they kind of went 4-3-3. And we all know, Mikel Arteta has admitted it before, that 4-3-3 is kind of how he's always seen his long-term vision for Arsenal, but he just hasn't had the players to do it. But interesting, that's how Arsenal ended the game yesterday. And when they went that, they were very, very attacking. They created loads of chances in those sort of last 25 minutes. Granted, you probably can't do that against some of the bigger teams because you leave yourself very open if you've just got Thomas Partey on his own in front of the back four. But that's what he had yesterday, really. He had Partey holding, then he had Odegaard and Smith Rowe ahead of him in the more forward positions, and you had Pepe and Saka on either side and Aubameyang front. So it was very, very attacking. You had runners on the ball with Odegaard and Smith Rowe as well, and suddenly Arsenal are really creating plenty of chances. And maybe that is a kind of little vision for the future. That's how we're going to see Arsenal play more and more as the season progresses and everyone is fit and available. We've grown used to the 4-2-3-1 system that Arteta has employed for quite a while now, but 4-3-3 has always been his thing. He's said it before, and it's quite interesting that we've seen that now yesterday, and it certainly had a bit of an impact, I thought, in terms of how Arsenal play going forward, because that's where they've really struggled this season in terms of chances created and shots on goal. But yesterday, granted, it was against Norwich, who, you know, defensively aren't the best and all that. So they're going to have a lot more tricky opponents to try it against in the future. But it'll be interesting if we're going to start seeing this 4-3-3 more and more now as the season progresses, when everyone is fit and available. And he said, look, when he was asked, did this feel a bit different, like your team now? And he said, I started to see this many months ago. Today you saw a different team with different names, different qualities. It was just different. We want to change things, we want to improve things, and we know what we want to get. Today was just another step. So it was quite interesting that I thought there. He's talking about the different names of different qualities, and he's wanted to change things. Hasn't really been able to do that too much up to now because of the injuries and COVID, but it just felt like yesterday was a bit of a start of something a little bit new, just a bit of a refresh with the new faces on board. And look, they got a result. They got the win they needed. And now hopefully with Burnley to come in that massive game against Tottenham, if they can win up at Burnley next weekend and go into that Tottenham game on the back of 2 wins, you just feel there's going to be... They're just beginning to have a little bit of momentum behind them. Then if they can do that, that trip to Turf Moor now is massive. It's always a tricky place to go. Always a bit of a hostile atmosphere out there, Burnley. They don't like Arsenal very much. It's very noticeable when you go up there and you sit like I do in the press box, which is right in the middle of the home grounds. They can't stand Arsenal. So it's going to be a bit of a hostile atmosphere there. If Arsenal can get through that, they can get a win away from home, then they're going to send them into that Tottenham game with some momentum behind them for the first time this season. So that will be good to see. Interesting. The big call on Aaron Ramsdale. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting that yesterday. I know there had been a few whispers, a few rumours in the build-up that Ramsdale might get the nod, but I was expecting Leno to come straight back in. So it was a big call from Mikel, but I mean, Arsenal conceded 9 goals this season with Leno in goal going into that game. I didn't think he was particularly at fault for many of them at Manchester City, and I thought he made some good saves in that game as well. But having said that, still not good for a keeper's confidence, letting in that amount of goals, and he kind of felt like the relationship between the defence and the goalkeeper wasn't quite at its best in the opening games of the season. So he changed things around. We had the 2 new centre-backs in front of him, and it was with Tomiyasu on the right as well, and it just felt like a completely different defence for Arsenal. Granted, they're playing against the Norwich team. Again, we have to keep saying that, who didn't offer too much going forward. We know they're not. We know they're certainly not the greatest. They're probably the weakest team in the Premier League. But it was just good to see Ramsdale, and he barely had a save to make. I think they only had 1 shot on target. But what he did do when he had the ball at his feet, he split the lines a couple of times with his passing, which was good. Just looked comfortable, took it around the Norwich defender once, so he wasn't worried to do that. He backs himself with the ball at his feet. So it was a positive sign from Aaron Ramsdale. Mikel said, look, I think he was terrific. It's not only what he did in the technical side, it's what he transmits, his energy, chemistry with the back line, how he reacts, his body language. I think it was top. We have 2 fantastic keepers, and never forget what Burton has done for us and what a good goalkeeper he is. I had to make decisions, and I felt Aaron was the right one to do. And that is what we decided today. He was then asked, is he your number 1 now? He said, I want to see how they perform. Now we need performances and we need to win football matches. So whoever gives better performances and whoever transmits more confidence and is more reliable will play. So from that, it certainly feels like Aaron Ramsdale now has the number 1 jersey and it's his to lose. If he can play well, can continue to put in some decent performances, doesn't make many mistakes, proves to be reliable, like Mikel's saying there, then for me it feels like Ramsdale is now Arsenal's number 1. He's the man in possession of the jersey, and it's going to be down to him making mistakes or Leno being very, very impressive in training and bouncing back to get the jersey off him. So I just feel like it's all part of this new look Arsenal that we might see over the coming weeks, and part of that was Tomiyasu as well, a right back, who I thought was very impressive yesterday. Tomiyasu, again, he wasn't really challenged defensively, so we're going to have to wait until Arsenal play better teams to see how he copes with that. But going forward, I thought he was very, very good. He was really comfortable on the ball, as everyone who's seen him a lot in Italy had said that he was. He was good right foot, left foot. Looked to threat on set pieces. There were a couple of occasions where he came in, made a really good run, and it was only Gabriel getting in his way twice, once in the first half, once in the second half, that stopped him having a decent chance from a set piece. That volley that he did that went just over, a real spectacular volley, showed how good his technique is. I thought it was a really impressive eye-catching debut from Tomiyasu, and hopefully we're going to see more of that, and he's going to continue to improve as he adjusts to the Premier League. He'd only had 2 training sessions going into this one, so that was good to see. Mikel speaking about him said really positive. Just the first impression when you met him, it was a joy and happiness and good energy. The moment he steps on the pitch, he was really focused, determined. He understands the role really well. When asked about why he came off after 60 minutes, he said he was cramping. Obviously, he only trained a day and a half with us. He had to travel as well, and emotionally it was his first game, so he had to take him off. So really positive signs there from Tomiyasu, who I thought had a very, very good debut. Just before I go, I wanted to talk a little bit about the atmosphere, because I wasn't sure what to expect going there yesterday, because obviously the start Arsenal have had, you felt like the fans could quite easily turn on Arsenal if things didn't go well. But I thought the atmosphere was fantastic yesterday, really, really good from start to finish. Even at like about 60 minutes when it was still 0-0, the fans were really trying to drive the team on. There was no real sense of frustration or anything like that. You didn't really hear any boos at half-time when it was 0-0, which again you might have done. You did against Chelsea. It was just a really good atmosphere, and it played a big part, I think, in getting Arsenal over the line in that second half when they needed that something extra. Aubameyang was talking about it after the game, and he said, we've needed the fans for a long time. Personally, I'm happy they are here. It always gives you something as a plus. I think it's a bonus when you're a player. It gives you energy, a lot of energy, even when it's tough. They give you something to make the difference, and I really did feel like the fans made a bit of a difference yesterday. And Mikel was asked about it as well, and he said, I just saw incredible fans trying to inspire the team, trying to tell them we are ready to suffer with you and we're going to support you. The rest, it doesn't matter. I'm extremely grateful, and I get pretty emotional to see that, because I think it's been pretty difficult to see in football. People are maybe expecting something, or they want to go down other roads and try to transmit hate or whatever, but it wasn't the case at all. So thank you so much. Really noticeable, I thought it was, and you can see by the comments by Aubameyang and Arteta what it meant to them, because I think everyone knew that, given the start of the season that Arsenal had, that it could have gone another way with the atmosphere, but the fans were really behind them, and it kind of showed, I think, a little bit that the difference. If you spend all your time, especially like I do, you spend all your time on social media because you have to, because of this job, you can almost get a little bit carried away in that what you hear on social media and what you see on social media is representative of what you see in stadiums, and it really didn't feel like the case, and it didn't feel like the case at West Brom in the League Cup game as well a couple of weeks ago, when the Arsenal away fans there were absolutely fantastic for the team. So that's good to see, because the team are certainly going to need them going forward. So all in all, look, positive day. Yes, it was only 1-0. Yes, it was only Norwich. But after the start of the season Arsenal have had, we needed something to cling on to. And I think we got that yesterday. We saw new players. We saw a new team. We saw a new formation in the second half. We saw a goal. We saw 3 points, and the atmosphere was great. So all in all, a really, really enjoyable Saturday, and it can all make sure that today, Sunday, is a little bit more enjoyable for the rest of us as well. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll speak to you very, very soon.